Hello students. Last class we had already talked about the parts of flower, their functions. In our today's class we are going to discuss the types of flowers. So first type of flower you can see here, that is known as complete flower. So what is complete flower? Complete flower is a flower which contain all four volts or of floral leaves, means calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. These four parts are there in complete flower. So complete flowers are the flowers which contain all four volts of the flower. Example you can see hibiscus, mustard pea. So many examples are written in your book also. Next type of flower is incomplete flower. What is incomplete flower? It is just opposite of the complete flower. Incomplete flower, I have told that four volts are present, but incomplete flower is the flower in which one or more volts of floral leaves are missing. So in incomplete flower, one or more volts is missing. So examples of the incomplete flower: flowers of papaya, date, palm, this etc. Next is perfect flower. A perfect flower has both stamens and carpels, and they are also described as bisexual or hermaphrodite. So perfect, bisexual, hermaphrodite flower, these three are the same. So perfect flower is the flower in which both male part, that is the stamen, and female part, that is the carpel, are present. Example you can see hibiscus, mustard, pea, etc. Next is imperfect flower. It is just opposite of the perfect flower. It is also known as unisexual flower. Perfect flower is known as bisexual, means both the sexes, male and female parts are present. And in imperfect flower, it is known as unisexual, means uni means one, only single sex part, sexual part of female or male part is present. Maybe female part is present or maybe male part. So a unisexual flower is one in which either the stamen, that is the male part, or the carpel, that is the female part, is missing. So in one flower stamen will be there, in another flower carpel will be there. Both will not present together. That is known as imperfect or unisexual flower. Only one reproductive part, male or female, will be there. Example papaya, palm, etc. Next is the functions of flower. You know that the flowers are mainly the reproductive part of the plant. It helps in the reproduction and help in the formation of fruits and seeds. So the most important function of flower is reproduction. They help in the union of male and female gametes, and this help in production of fruits and seeds. Flowers provide nectar to certain birds and insects, which in turn help in the transfer of pollen from one flower to the another. Flowers have some aesthetic values also, means they are grown for colors, beautiful colors, shapes and smell. Flowers are also used for perfumes and making spices. So these are the main functions of the flower. Next we are going to discuss the topic pollination. Pollination term has come from pollen grains. Actually, pollen grains are the male part, means it contains the male gametes of the flower. It is only transferred to the female part, combine or unite with the female gamete and form the seeds and fruits. So what is the definition of pollination? Pollination is the process of transferring the pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. Last class already I have told what is anther and what is stigma. Anther is the upper part of the stamen or male part, and stigma also is the sticky upper part of the female part or carpel. So pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. It is accomplished by wind, water or animals. So these all are the pollinating agents. Birds and insects are also very helpful in pollination. They are known as natural pollinators. Two types of pollinations are there. One is self-pollination, another one is cross-pollination. Self-pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to stigma of same flower or another flower of same plant is called self-pollination. So here you can see this is the flower of the plant which contain stamen, carpel both. It is a bisexual flower. So what happens if the anther of this flower is going to transfer to the stigma of the same flower? It is self-pollination. And also, if in a single plant, two flowers, in between the two flowers, from one flower to another flower, anther will be transferred. This is also the self-pollination. So, mind it student, the main word of the self-pollination is that same plant, the pollen grain will be transferred from anther to the stigma in that same plant. Maybe it is within the same flower or maybe from one flower to the another flower, but two flowers will be in the same plant. Pollen will be constricted in the same plant. It will not move from one plant to the another plant. Plant will be same. Maybe the transfer will be in the same flower or different flower, but in the same plant. This is the main word of this definition. Same plant. Within the same plant, pollen will be transferred. Now next one is cross-pollination. What is cross-pollination? It is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther of flower of one plant to the stigma of flower of another plant of same species is called cross-pollination. So student, I am telling you the main words of the definition. First is another plant. Second is same species. The transfer should be within the same species and another plant. Can you understand the difference in between the self and cross? In the self-pollination, the pollen will be constricted in the same plant. But in the cross-pollination, pollen will be transferred from one plant to the another plant. Pollen will be transferred from the anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower of another plant, not in the same plant. Mind it, student, not in the same plant, but the species will be same. Not like that mango pollen will be transferred to the jackfruit plant. That time pollination can't be possible. That time fertilization can't be possible. Okay, so the species should be same. From here you can make the difference in between the self and cross pollination also. So students, today this much.